This is the Brook Wingman converter. This is the XB3 version. Essentially, this thing allows you to convert Fire Sticks, PS5 controllers, and other controllers to work on your Xbox Series X and then Xbox One. It also will work on the PC as well. And here it is. I've got the DualSense Edge here, and we're going to plug it in. And then you plug this into your Xbox. Now let's turn this bad boy on. As you can see here, if it's working, this light's gonna turn blue. And would you look at this? I am on my Xbox Series X. Everything works perfectly. To play it wirelessly, after you already have it plugged in, just unplug the cable. And then what you're gonna do is just press the PS button and check this out. Isn't that cool or what? Now with some of the other controllers, if it has a pair button, you may have to press and hold this guy to pair it to the converter. In terms of performance, this guy is so much better than XB2. If you've seen my review on that converter, I was pretty disappointed with the performance of it. It was kind of laggy. But with this new one, they improved it so much. And to be honest with you, I've barely noticed any lag with this converter. This converter also allows you to have turbo function. Check this out. You press the share button and the PlayStation button at the same time, and you're gonna see the light on the converter turn red. Let's say I want this button to have turbo. I'm gonna press share, press this guy. You're gonna feel a little bit of a rumble. Press the option button to save it. Now press the PlayStation to exit the setting mode, and the light on the converter is gonna turn blue again. Okay, now I press this button. Look at that. Unfortunately, you cannot set turbo on the D-pad. And the reason for that is the D-pad is actually used to control the speed of the turbo. To change the turbo speed, let's get into setting mode again. Press and hold share, press up to increase the speed, or down to decrease the speed. In this case, I'm going to go all the way up. Press option to save, and home button to exit. Now you can see my turbo is so much faster, while the ability to increase or decrease the speed is super cool. However, I wish that they had remapped it maybe to the joystick and free up the D-pad so that way I can set turbo on the D-pad as well. And one reason that you want to do that is so that you can do a Korean backdash hella fast on this thing using the turbo function. I know, it's cheating. I get it, but I'm just saying if you can have turbo, make it work on all the buttons. To clear it, let's go into the setting mode again and press and hold both of these top buttons. Save it, exit. The other thing you can do is you can remap the buttons around. Unfortunately, I cannot remap it to the back buttons. To do that, press the home button and the option button at the same time. Now press and hold the share button, press this guy, and then press the circle button. Now save it, exit. Now we want to map the circle button to the triangle button, right? So let's do that again. Before, triangle is punch and circle is kick. It should be reversed now. Punch, triangle is kick. What do you know? While the remap and turbo functions are cool, I feel like they didn't go all the way. And really, I feel that this is a software thing. They can totally update it. But as of right now, it's not as useful as it could be. This converter supports a lot of controllers, 135 plus. If you scroll down, you're going to see a list of supported controllers. I'm going to link this in the description if you're wondering if your controller is supported. These are the list of the Xbox controllers, PlayStation controllers, you have the Switch controllers, and also other controllers. Check this out. For the 8-bit dual SNK controller, it will support wired, but it will also support the dongle. So what does that mean? Just think about it for a second. You're gonna plug that dongle in another dongle and plug it in to your PC or your Xbox Series X. Alright, let's get to the polling rate test. With the DualSense Edge wired, Minimum 0.66 milliseconds, maximum is 4.41 milliseconds. Jitter is really good at 0.09. The average input delay is going to be 3.88, and the polling rate hovers around 250 Hz. Now what's crazy is, with the wireless, look at the polling rate. It's essentially doubled, meaning average input delay is halved, but jitter is a lot worse, as you can see here. What this means is you're going to have spikes of bad input lag. You see the range here is a lot bigger than on wired. And you're going to see the same result on the regular DualSense. Polling rate is around 250. On wireless, it's doubled. Jitter is a lot worse. And you can see the wireless range here versus the wired. I also tested the DualShock 4. Polling rate is the same as the other two when wired. And all the other numbers are essentially the same as well. However, I was not able to get the wireless to work. I tested the Nintendo Switch Pro wired and wireless, and my advice is just don't use this. The polling rate is so bad. You're going to have between 13 to 15 milliseconds of input delay, and the jitter is just horrific. Look at this. And as you can see, the range here is just so huge. When it comes to the Xbox Series X controller, the wireless and the wired results are pretty similar. But again, we notice that the jitter is a lot more on wireless. And you can see here the range on wireless is just doubled. It's a similar story for the Xbox Series 2 Elite. Polling rate is very close, meaning average input delay is essentially the same, but jitter is a lot different. It's just a lot worse when you're playing it wirelessly. And I could be wrong here, but I think this is due to the converter using Bluetooth. There's just going to be a lot of interference because you're going to have a lot of Bluetooth devices around. And just for kicks and giggles, I have also measured the V3 Pro. I only have the wired results, and the polling rate goes up to around 500. Really good average input delay, no jitter at all, really small range here. By looking at all of these controllers that I've tested, what you're going to notice here is if a particular controller has really high polling rate, that's going to transfer over to the converter. However, the V3 Pro wired maintains a high polling rate, whereas the DualSense Edge wired is also capable of going up to 1000 Hz, but on wired is only 250. So I'm not sure what's going on here with the PlayStation controllers. I'm not sure why there's a limit here. Obviously there's no limit on wireless, and it looks like the converter's max speed is around 500 Hz. And of course, if you have slower controllers, they're going to remain slow. Alright, final thoughts. This converter is so much better than the previous iteration. If you're somebody who prefers the PlayStation controllers and you want to use it on the Xbox or on the PC, this converter is a great option for that. In terms of performance, it's a little weird for PlayStation controllers. Wirelessly, it's much faster, but it's not as consistent. And to be honest with you, I would rather have consistency than super fast polling rate. The only other thing that I'll say is hopefully in the future they'll upgrade the firmware to allow the D-pad to have turbo functionality, and also to allow the ability to remap the back buttons on Pro controllers. Alright, hopefully you found the video to be helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.